You can read Korean but feel it difficult to understand by listening? What in the world makes Korean listening difficult for you? Of course, it might be because you haven't listened to Korean sounds enough yet. But that's not what I'm going to tell you today, because it's too obvious. Instead, I'm going to tell you another reason, an ironic reason why Korean listening is hard for you and a solution to that. Without further ado, let's dive into today's topic. The ironic reason why Korean listening is hard for you is the pronunciation. The further your pronunciation from original Korean pronunciation, the harder Korean listening gets. Why? Let me tell you a real story from a friend of mine. My friend is also a 100% native Korean like me, and she can read and understand English articles or things like that, because she got relatively good grades in English exams. One day, I said glue in front of her. I knew she knew it because glue is a word that every Korean who has finished high school knows. But surprisingly, she asked me, "What does it mean?" I said, "It's a word you already know." She said, "I don't know what that word is." So I showed her the letters, G-L-U-E. And she said, "Ah, glue. I know that word." At that moment, something clicked in my head. This also could be a main reason why most language learners have difficulty with listening. My friend, for example, doesn't have good English pronunciation. Rather, she has Korean-style English pronunciation, Konglish, I would say. Because of that, when she reads English texts, Konglish sounds play in her head. When she reads glue, the sound glue plays. When she reads call, the sound 콜 plays. For this reason, even though she knows certain English words, she cannot understand them by listening to original English sounds. Likewise, if you have difficulty with Korean listening, chances are high your pronunciation is kind of far from the original Korean pronunciation. In other words, if you improve your Korean pronunciation as close as its original sounds, it becomes way easier to identify Korean sounds and their meanings. It's a kind of fresh view, right? You might be saying, "So, how can I improve my Korean pronunciation?" I'll tell you one fundamental tip to improve your Korean pronunciation. It is the position difference. Do you know what's the main difference between English sounds and Korean sounds? Let's see this image. As you can see, I divided the inside of the mouth into two parts. Let's call them position 1 and position 2. Can you guess why I divided them into position 1 and position 2? Because in many cases, Korean sounds come from position 1 and English sounds come from position 2. Let me show some examples. I have prepared some words which have the same meanings and similar sounds. Try to feel the position difference when listening to each language's pronunciation.
banana,
바나나,
piano,
피아노,
salad,
샐러드,
robot,
로봇,
pasta,
파스타. You can feel the difference, right? So, the more you try to listen to the position difference whenever hearing Korean and to imitate the position and sounds, the closer your Korean pronunciation gets to the original Korean pronunciation. But don't get me wrong, I'm not asking you to try to have native level pronunciation. You don't have to, and you shouldn't do that. Please aim to have good Korean pronunciation as a goal. What I mean by good pronunciation is this. If Korean people can easily notice you're making different sounds properly, then you have good Korean pronunciation. In my case, for example, I would say I kind of have good English pronunciation because when I made the sounds of L and R, native English speakers easily noticed I was making their sounds differently and properly. However, at this very moment, many of you might be saying this. Are there any other tips for improving Korean pronunciation? Of course, I have plenty of them. But there's one problem. It is, they cannot be contained in a few videos. So I've thought about making pronunciation lecture video, but I decided not to do that because it'll definitely take me so much time to organize the curriculum, find examples, and make videos. But don't worry, it doesn't mean I won't help you improve your Korean pronunciation. Instead of lectures, I came up with a better idea. It is the pronunciation feedback videos. If you have difficulty with pronouncing particular words, phrases, or sentences, please record your pronunciation and send it to me. I'll let you know how to pronounce it properly by a feedback video. As a side note, feedback videos will be uploaded on my channel, so other subscribers can learn how to pronounce different Korean sounds properly too. So please, only people who agree with using their audio request feedback from me. One more side note. I have only one body and 24 hours a day, so I can't give all of you feedback. Therefore, I'll pick some of your requests which contain a lot of useful feedback for all of you. If you want to request pronunciation feedback from me, please check the description or pinned comment of this video. Getting back to the point, besides improving Korean pronunciation, I want to tell you another useful tip for improving your Korean listening skills. If you want to improve your Korean listening skills, you have to read a lot, as much as you listen to or watch Korean content a lot. Why? Do you know how many words native speakers speak in a minute? 150 to 160 words in a minute. It's about 3 words per second. In other words, to understand Korean with a natural rapidity by listening, your brain needs to be capable of processing 3 Korean words in a second. Simply put, the reason why you have difficulty with Korean listening is the slow information processing speed. However, if you read Korean a lot, you can develop your information processing speed. No, your information processing speed will be faster by reading a lot. Why? Because reading, unlike listening, allows you enough time to understand the meaning of the content. Reading allows you the time to look into a dictionary and the time to savor a language, but listening doesn't. In other words, during reading, you learn new vocabulary, phrases, expressions, and in which context they are used. All of them heighten your overall understanding of a language. And of course, if you have a higher understanding of a language, you won't feel it hard to process the same amount of language information which took you relatively much time to understand before. From my own language learning experience, listening a lot without understanding didn't help me out almost at all. However, the more I read, the faster my information processing speed got, even though it wasn't fast at first. By the time my information processing speed got faster enough, I was able to understand more and more from listening to my target language. So, if you want to improve your Korean listening skills fast, please read Korean content a lot, as much as you watch K-dramas or something. However, if I say so, many of you might think like this: read a lot? I don't like books. Books are boring. Fortunately, I'm not saying read only books. It's perfectly okay if it's text. Exploring Korean online communities or websites is also a kind of reading. So find what you already like and search for it in your target language. In my case, for example, I like watches. So when I'm practicing reading, I search for information about watches in English. It's at least 15 times more fun compared to reading books for me. Let's sum up to this video. Today, we talked about how to improve your Korean listening skills, improving your pronunciation, and reading a lot. Both are kind of counterintuitive, but they actually work. So I highly recommend trying them. Lastly, in case of someone says, David Kim said just practice pronunciation and read a lot to improve listening skills rather than listening a lot, I think I should make this clear. Like I said at the beginning of this video, listening a lot, including reading while listening, is what you must do to improve your Korean listening skills. It's already so obviously necessary. So I didn't talk about it in this video. Alright, this is what I prepared for you. If you have any ideas about new topics, please leave it with your comment. Thank you for watching this video and have a nice day.